All right, welcome to Big Al's Billiards. My name is Al Tolley, better known as Big Al. Today we are going to go over bank shots, everything you need to know about bank shots, okay? Number one, we're going to identify the four main types of bank shots. You may not know that there are four different types, and we're going to go over them. Okay, number two, we're going to recognize the possible double kiss scenarios, okay, what you need to look for. All right, number three, we're going to look at how to avoid the double kiss scenarios when you are in one, okay? Number four, we're going to go over banking variables, all the different variables in bank shots, okay? Speed, spin, cloth, the rails, humidity even, they all play a part in banking, okay? Number five, finally, we're going to go over some game situation bank shots, when to do one and when not to do one. All right, and if you are watching this video, listening to us on Facebook Reels or Instagram Reels, there is a 90-second max. So please go into the comment section, click the YouTube link or the TikTok link, and you can watch the full video. It's jam-packed with a lot of good stuff. So, and if you like the content, please feel free to subscribe. We do appreciate the support. Let's get into it.
All right, real quick. When you have a bank shot, there's two lines that are separate. They do meet up usually right around here, but you have your shooting line, you have your pocket line, okay? If the angle of incidence is generally going to be the same as the angle of reflection is going to be the same as the angle of incidence, okay? So angle in, angle out. That's if you're not really hitting it hard, and that's if you're not putting spin on it, and it depends on how grippy your rails are. There's a lot of factors, but anyways, so your shooting line, your pocket line, okay? We got that term? This is the most common bank, all right? It is a straight bank. That means the cue ball is always going to stay on this side of the pocket line, always, okay? All right, the cue ball stayed on that side of the pocket line, okay? All right, and this one is called inside out, okay? Why? Because we are in the inside of the pocket, but we haven't crossed this pocket line. You see, we're not actually crossing the pocket line, but we are on the inside of the angle. So it's an inside out bank, all right? Because after we hit this, it's going out. All right, so let's make this bank here. Okay, this one is the pre-cross bank. We are crossing the pocket line this time, and so it is a cross bank, but we're crossing it before we even make contact with the object ball. Okay, so check it out. So that's why it's called pre. Okay, and this one is a post cross bank. So we're going to be crossing the pocket line after we make contact with the object ball. Okay, and this shot's a little more difficult, and I'm going to play a little spin on this, which we will cover in the other topics. Now, how do we recognize if it's going to be a double kiss kind of shot? All right, we put the 8-ball here just to make us a little nervous. This is a double kiss shot, because if I just go to bank this, a double kiss, and I lose the game. First of all, when your shooting line and your pocket line are the same line, it's obviously a double kiss shot. And this is a little secret. If you line up to make your bank shot, and your cue ball is going facing your aim line, is the cue ball is facing a pocket. Doesn't matter if it's a corner or a side. It's probably going to be a double kiss shot, all right? Just like this. My cue ball is lined up for the edge of that corner pocket. And it's a solid double kiss. Most of the time, that is true. When the cue ball is out a little bit more and stuff like that, you have more room for the crisscross to miss each other and stuff. But when you're a little bit more into the corner of the rails, it's almost 100% through. Number three, the other sign that it's probably going to be a double kiss is if your object ball is on the rail or almost on the rail, like almost frozen. And if you're not cutting that at least 45 degrees, chances are it's going to be a double kiss shot. Okay? So this is not a 45-degree cut. Do not need to cut this 45 degrees to make this bank. I'm probably only going to be cutting it about 5 to 8 degrees. Okay, so I'm almost hitting it straight on. It's going to be an automatic double kiss. Now, I'm not talking about how to avoid these double kisses yet. This is just identifying the double kisses because there are ways to avoid most of these double kisses, all right? So if I try to bank this, it's just going to double kiss and the 11's going to go somewhere we don't want it to go, like that. Okay, so why is it a double kiss when it's on the rail? Well, because your pocket line and your shooting line converge at the rail here, at the object ball. And when it's on the rail or almost on the rail, there's no room for the cue ball and your object ball to move and separate, okay? Now, if I was cutting this at about 45-degree angles and trying to go three bank side, it's not going to double kiss. Did we get it? Oh, we just missed it. All right. So when your object ball starts moving off the rail a little bit, now you've got some room to maneuver and you can get that cue ball out of the way. All right. When it's within a ball distance of the rail or on the rail, it gets a little more difficult. Okay. So I'm going to talk about an angle. If you ever used a miter saw, you know, you probably are familiar with a 22.5 degrees angle on it, okay? It's a half of a 45, so if you're doing baseboards and trim stuff, you're always doing 45s for the corners. And if you have some offset corners, you have to go probably 22.5, 22.5, 22.5, 22.5, and that makes 90 degrees for a corner. Okay, if you've ever done that, you know what I'm talking about. So 22.5 degrees when you're cutting a ball at anything less than 22.5 degrees. If you're close to the rail, you're in a double kiss zone, as I already showed you. So even here, this is, if I don't do anything to this, I'm just going to hit it. Chances are it's going to double kiss. You see that? Little tick, tick, double kiss, and the 11 went over here. Okay? Even though I was almost a ball off the rail. Okay? So we'll get into how to avoid those double kisses. I just want you guys to recognize which ones are going to be double kiss shots, especially for you beginners and lower intermediate players who maybe don't understand all of this, but I'm going to try to explain it in the easiest way possible for you to get it. So, all right, so let's move on. Duplicate that like that. So that was a second hit. The cue ball came off this rail, so it missed it at first, came off this rail, and came back and hit it, okay? It didn't hit it when the object ball was coming off this rail right away. It hit it when the cue ball came off this rail back into the object ball. So you do have to, when you're in tight to the pocket jaws here or into the within 1.5 diamonds to 1.5 diamonds, you have a risk of a secondary double kiss shot as well, okay? Let's talk about the first way to avoid a double kiss. Okay, you see I have a slight angle here, angle in, angle out. It's probably going to hit right about here if I don't play any kind of spin. So I'm just going to do a stop shot. You see that? We hit right here, okay? So let's put this back and let's see if we can shorten this angle up. How do we do that? Well, playing inside spin, so right spin in this scenario, at a medium pace is going to shorten the shot up a lot, okay? Check this out. We should be able to miss this cue ball and put that 11 right in the pocket. Okay, that's number one way. Another way to avoid a double kiss is to shoot straight across, okay? I'll show you what I mean. First of all, I'm not going to play any spin, but I'm going to shoot the 11 straight across. See that? Kind of basically came straight across the rail. We didn't aim it for the corner because it would have double kissed. So We're going to aim it straight across, but we're going to use a little bit of left spin to bring it to the right. Okay, so let's see if we can avoid the double kiss. We're going to shoot thicker on the ball, bit of left spin at a softer pace. Let's see if we can squeak it in there. Just barely, hey, but we got it, all right? So you see, the spin, the left spin brought the 11 over to the right. And we still made it without a double kiss. So here's one where our shooting line and our pocket line are virtually the same. So it is an automatic double kiss. However, you can make it here pretty easy. If you just elevate about 20 degrees or maybe 30 degrees or so, hit the top of the cue ball, just give this a little pop, and it goes in all day long. That was my first try, by the way. I practiced those quite a bit, but you see how we just popped the cue ball up, the 11 went right under the cue ball, went right in the pocket, okay? It's actually pretty easy. This time I'm not going to play any spin. I'm just going to use cut and deuce spin, all right? As I hit the right side of this 11, it's going to put a right spin on that ball. I'm going to hit a little bit hard, try to avoid the double kiss. Check it out. All right, just like that. Number 4, banking variables. All right, so just in general, if you are 1 diamond from the side and 1 diamond to the corner, and if you are right on this line, it is a natural bank here. Just a firm shot, maybe a little bit of backspin, and it goes every time, okay? So now let's just redo that. Exact same line, okay? And I'll show you what it looks like when we do it softer, okay? Same shot, but at a soft pace now. Okay, you see we hit up here, all right? So speed shortens up the angle, okay? So that's why I like it when it's like this, okay? So on the one to one, and you just give it a nice firm shot. It goes every time like that, right? So yes, and sometimes top and bottom do shorten it up a little bit, but I like to do either center ball or bottom on most banks, and without playing a spin. I only play the spin if I have to try to get out, like avoid a double kiss, or if I need some shape or something like that. But so there are other variables too. The cloth depends how slippery the cloth is, how sticky it is. My cloth actually grabs pretty decent. It's not real like there's some friction there, okay? So I can do some pretty cool 3 and 4 bank reverse shots and stuff like that, like you saw in the intro. And whereas on some tables where it's really slippery cloth, it's harder to do them on it because the balls just don't grab. Also depends on the cleanliness of the balls, to be honest. And and if you're playing left or right spin, well, that changes everything. Left and right spin really change things, okay? So here is left spin. So that's outside, away from the pocket we're going to. We'll probably hit up here. Check it out. Yeah, see how much we missed it by? Cue ball still spinning, okay? Because that really opens up the angle. And as we already discussed, inside spin shortens up the angle. So this is all the same line here for all these shots. So I'm going to try to miss the pocket on this side now by using inside right spin. Check it out. See that? Came back the other direction. So that shortens it up. So unless you need to play left and right spin on your banks for certain reasons, it is best just to keep the center vertical line on it, because then you know exactly what to expect. And the cloth or whatever doesn't really matter that much. Now, cushions do matter. If you're playing in a bar where it's just dead, you go like this and it sounds like you're knocking on wood. Good luck. You better do them soft. Instead of aiming on that kind of line, you better aim out like this and hit soft and let that object ball work its way in towards the pocket. And because you're not going to be able to bank anything with weight. Okay, so mine's not bad, but my table. But yeah, if you hit it a little bit thicker and just let that um, softness open up that angle, that's a little better there. Okay, so that was a soft bank. But if I would have done that on that angle hard, I would have missed big time up in here because I was aiming differently because I was shooting it soft. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the aiming ins and outs and the mirroring pocket X, make an X, and the shifting of this and that and all sorts of stuff. I will tell you just a real simple, when you're going bank sides or bank corners, the short way across the table. Yes, 1-to-1 or 1-to-1 at a firm pace. Great. Okay, what if you're not on that line? Well, if you're generally in this area, let's say the ball is here. Okay, and if you, let's just say it's ball in hand, okay? If you take this line and you move halfway to your object ball, okay? Keep it all in place. Shift halfway over, right there, okay? Now I keep the tip in place and I move over the object ball. Okay, so if we take this hard right on that line, we should make this bank all day long, right? So that is a easy way to aim up banks that are basically in this, vicinity here. If you have to do a bank corner or a bank side, works exactly the same. Okay, so that's short table banks, and that's hitting at a firm pace when you go on that line. Okay, firm pace. Really doesn't matter if you play top, bottom, or center. I still prefer to play at least center or bottom though. I like those better. But that is an easy way to make bank sides, bank corners, short distance of the table. All right, number 5, game situations. Okay, so I'm highball here. I've got the 13 and the 11, and my opponent has the 5, and we have the 8 ball hanging in a pocket. Okay, so my options here. Yeah, I could probably try to cut this. Might be able to make it. You know what? If I miss, though, because I probably put a little inside spin on this, if I miss, the cue ball's probably coming right down here. Might even sink the 8, but I might come right down into this area. And if I rattle it, game over. Okay, if I cut this to the corner, yeah, with backspin, I might be able to slow it down. There is a risk of scratching as I take some backspin or bottom left or whatever. But probably I could hold this on this side of the table. But you know what? A bank shot here is a very good option. Why? My opponent has a fairly hard bank. I'd like to leave the cue ball down into this zone over here. I'm going to call a bank. Why do I want to leave the cue ball over here? Because it makes for a hard bank. Number 1, it's frozen to the rail. It's a very hard bank corner. Number 2, that pocket's blocked. So I want to be on this side of the 5, not on that side of the 5. Bank makes a lot of sense. Even if we miss it, I don't even care. Okay, we made it. Now we got an even better shot on the 13. And if we missed, my opponent didn't have a whole hell of a lot. Here's another decent situation for a bank shot on the 13 here. Okay, I'm going to play just above center because I'd like to just barely nudge this 9 and 12 out because they don't go where they are. So just a little punch above center. See if we can make the bank. Oh, we didn't make the bank. And it turns out I didn't have that great of a shot either. But look what my opponent has. Another situation where I'm high ball. Okay. Um, yeah, the 13 goes to the corner. 9 doesn't quite go to the side, but 13 goes to the corner, but it's not straight, so the cue ball is going to come over here. I don't really want to do that. I'm not going to take my duck right now. I have a perfect bank side here. Okay, and what happens if I miss? Nothing at all. So, check it out. I'm just going to stick it there. We'll do a bank side. If I miss, great. And now I have some other shots to decide. Okay. this is a good angle now because I can bring the cue ball off this rail and back over here, take the 12, and then finish up with the 9 and the 8. Okay, and all the time playing with a bit of a safety in mind so I don't leave my opponent a good, clean shot. In this situation, I'm still high ball, my opponent's still low ball. Okay, I don't really have any shots on the 13, 14. I don't have a shot on the 9. You know what? And yeah, I could cut that, and I trust my cuts actually, they're a little more consistent than these banks, but um, I'll get close every time, but sometimes they rattle, especially when you got 4-inch pockets like I do. They tend to rattle sometimes. Okay, but I like the bank here. Why? Because I'm going to send this cue ball down with topspin right down into here. I'll have a shot in the 9. If I miss, my opponent's going to have hardly anything. He'll have a long bank, or she'll have a long bank. So let's try this bank. Okay, looking decent. Oh, just short a little bit. Okay, but that's all right. Set up nicely now. And my opponent is going to have to try a bank shot. Hey, you know what? If they make it, they get out. And that's the way that goes. All right, guys. So when you have a bank like this and it's your last ball, you don't really care what kind of shape or anything like that that you have to play for or whatever. You just don't have to because the eight's just sitting here hanging. So you just walk up and you just pound it in. You don't even think about it. You just go bang. Well, that was in. It came off the back of the pocket. Anyway, my point is, what if you have another ball? Okay, and don't really have too much of a safety. Yeah, you could try that. It's an easy kick, even if you hook your opponent on it. Okay, what if you have this situation now, and you have to try to bank this either with playing bottom right spin to try to come around, or you have to try to uh, play top left spin and try to come around, to get some kind of shot on that one. Do you know how to make those banks? Because that changes the sequence of the bank. That changes where you have to hit, where you have to aim. If you're playing uh, inside left spin like this and trying to force follow it a little bit down, you have to aim wide because it's going to shorten up the angle. If you're playing bottom right, which is outside spin, you actually have to aim the 12 ball narrow because it's going to widen out the angle. You have to think about all that. So it's important to practice all aspects, okay? All right, let's put the 8 ball here just to make people feel a little more nervous. Okay, you've seen me do this shot a million times. I've done it like many, many times in a row uncut, like 6 or 7 or 8 times or something like that. It's a pretty easy shot. I'm not going to play any spin on this, okay? I'm playing just below center ball, no left or no right, okay? So we'll make it right back here to where I am. Can you see that? Just comes back in. That was center ball. No English applied. That was all cut-induced spin, okay? And so, a shot like this does come. Uh, it is an option if you're in a scenario like this, okay? Um, or if you are uh, in a situation like this, you may want to, this is a little bit harder. I'm going to come wide, then I'm going to come here, and then we're going to try to walk it back. But we'll see if I can do this. Let me give it a little more angle to make it a little harder. Because at this point, we could probably put some spin on it and try to get it in one bank. Okay, that one's a little bit harder. I'm going to put a little spin on this one, a little bit of right spin, okay? Oof, not quite. All right, try that one again. Oof, getting closer. Ooh, I would have lost the game maybe. No. Okay, we'll try once more here. No. Okay, that's a little bit harder of a shot. Does take a little bit more practice on it. So, oh, off both horns, just about had it there. Okay, those are always fun. Sometimes those are practical in a game. Okay, all right. So you don't have to put. Generally, you can put some English on it. It does help. About 20% of it is spin applied to the cue ball, and about 80% of it, or 75 to 80% of it, is just cut-induced spin. It's the cue ball naturally putting a spin, and the rails too. When it starts hitting these rails on angles, it comes off and is naturally putting a spin on the ball. Okay, starts with the cue ball though, and it starts with cuts. If you're doing it straight, it's not going to put any spin-induced throw or cut-induced spin on it. I mean, so anyways, that's that. We'll end the lesson there. Thanks for your support, guys. Hope you learned something today. Feel free to message me and let me know what you think. Okay, take care.